That's one hobby I've been.
We're all set to go.
Okay, thank you, Heather. So I'd like to call this meeting to order, and let's have a roll call, starting with Ryan.
Here.
Jeff Havas here.
John Sampson here.
Heidi Rieger.
Will Ronnie Bush here.
So we all are in attendance. We hopefully have all looked at the minutes, and are there any changes?
Couple of real minor things on agenda item number 3, B, like the last sentence there, it says, council is a new member of the HBC to represent. Got that?
Yeah.
The other one was on the second page where it says Riley Bush suggested approaches. I would think to like to add something there so they know what those approaches from. If right in front of the B, to add the three-year strategic plan items, because someone may wonder what those came from. So it's like where it says Riley Bush suggested approaching, and then add the 3-year strategic plan items. I've
Once
got it.
again, the. Oh, okay. Great.
Because at first reading that, wonder what that was, and then
It's ambiguous.
I also want to correct the date on the minutes that we approved last time.
Oh.
It should be 2025.
Oh, that's a good idea. Any other,
Nope, that's all. I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
okay,
I'll second.
approved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Unanimous. Okay, thank you. Administrative items. Next meeting is June 24th, 2025. I will not be here. I will be in the state of Maine, so I'm assuming we will have that meeting, but can someone else be
Make it,
going?
chair it, make it
Will? Okay, great.
vice
So
chair. Yeah.
Will fill in for me.
Sure will.
I'm
Excellent.
looking ahead, I won't be here for the July meeting.
Okay. You're okay, Heidi, you're okay?
Yeah.
Good. Chairperson report. I know, Heather, that you had talked with Chris Moen about the Heritage Ohio Award, making an application for that. Is that correct?
Yes, I submitted our application, or nomination, I'll call it.
Excellent. Thank you for doing that.
You're
I
welcome.
just saw a message or memo to that effect. So that's great. I don't have any other items from my seat. So the FAQs, letter C in our agenda, we have updated those, and I wrote a letter to Will Earhart and delivered it, and also gave him the FAQs. So I think it's good that we've gotten those a little bit updated. We'll probably continue to want to add things as we go through the next few meetings, but I think we've got a pretty good list. Strategic plan, we talked about that last meeting quite a bit. I don't have any more information or suggestions. I don't know if there's any discussion. Okay, good. We're moving along quickly. Number 4, local designations, buildings of interest. Former South Main School. Is there any update? Nothing.
Haven't heard anything.
Okay. I think at the very least, we should, as a commission, continue to bring that up and support any future ventures, any future people that might be interested in saving that building. We haven't had much success so far. I know BG Song is working on it, but I think that is a building that we want to see stay in our community. Other possible sites, the old windmill, Hannah House, Corner Grill, Clazel Theater, things that we have brought up in the past.
Do we want to make a decision of which one we want to pursue? In fact, related to South Main School, we were talking about pursuing, putting it on the national register, right? And these other possible sites, do we want to decide what our next,
Picking one or all.
or picking one to approach the owners, or in order to?
I think it's a good idea. In fact, we can consider other sites too. What would you suggest something, Jeff?
Well, there are a couple, the Hannah House might be one that we could do fairly quickly. I think the owners are interested, and we have basic information about the house. But we need to get more, of course.
So,
That's the one that we did a building of the month for?
Yeah,
Okay.
the mid-century
Right, yeah.
on Scott Boulevard.
Yeah, I think that'd be interesting to have a mid-century modern designated, start getting more recent.
and they are interested in a
Yeah,
designation.
yeah, when I talk to them. So since I've been in touch with them, I can approach them on this.
Can we proceed with that suggestion as well as the South Main School? Do you think we can handle two at the same time?
Probably, they're two different things, right? One is the local and one is, so
Oh, do you want the Hannah as a local? Is that what you're thinking of, or national?
we're not in a position to do that yet, right? I mean, it depends on the owner's
Right, we're just
cooperation.
talking about national.
Right,
registered.
national.
Okay, yeah.
So Hannah House would be a local designation? Okay,
Oh, okay.
and perhaps the South Main as a national.
Could we do the Hannah House as a national register too? Or kind of up to them? Do we want the Hannah House as national register and local designation, or does it matter?
We would need their interest in doing that, right?
Local.
Yeah, though I think, given their local interest, that it probably wouldn't be difficult. We can talk to them about the national designation.
Okay.
Not having done myself either of these things, John, I don't know how much is involved in the national designation. We haven't really done one, applied for one since the commission exists, right?
The National Preservation statewide, federalized is they're slowing down. They don't have enough staff right now, so
Oh,
it
okay.
might take a while to get through anyway.
There's
It's also
that.
gonna delay funding for the tax credits.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if everybody got those emails from the National Preservation. I don't know how I got them, but
Yeah, I think I did. Well, in any case, I'll approach the owners of the Hannah House about the local designation
We can start with that.
and start with that.
Yep.
you know.
Okay.
Thing too with that was maybe to give them a copy of the ordinance 158,
Yep,
kind of as an intro,
right, right.
because it goes through and explains the whole process and everything, yeah.
Okay, good. Historical plaques, I know we had talked about that a lot last time. Nothing further, right, on this, Heather?
Well, I do have a couple design options from B Sign Group that we had worked with, the historical signs downtown, just to give us an idea of what they could look like. I still need to think about what we could do with our budget for 2026, because we didn't budget if we decide to move forward with this as an option. We may want to consider maybe 50-50 splitting this with a property owner. But I think kind of getting more information from you all about if you prefer bronze or aluminum for a house that is on our local register would be one of the big questions, because bronze is a lot more money. But it's also more permanence. I mean, that's the pro of it. It's supposed to last forever. So anyways, I can pass around these couple designs, and then also, again, just to give us an idea, we can still talk to other companies. I just haven't had a chance to do that. But another question is, what do you want them to say? Do you want them to say the year built and then when they were put on the local register? Or just the year built? I mean, it kind of just depends on what you're thinking, but I'll pass out these couple designs, and we can keep researching some other companies.
So the bronze was, I'm trying to remember, that was like $400 or $500, something like that?
I wrote it on
They're on the
those.
top left, the difference in prices.
Okay,
What
bronze,
do other places do for the date that have the plaques? What have they done?
Both.
Okay.
That's why I wasn't really sure if the commission had a particular opinion on how you want to move forward.
What does the National Register do? Is it just the house when it was built?
I'm sure you can do what you want, because those plaques you can
Yeah.
pretty much get easily. But I think it normally has when you're added to the National Register.
do we have anyone have a copy of what Perrysburg has posted on their historic buildings?
Yeah, I have a picture. It's just an oval shaped plaque. And they do the year of construction. But it's a little different because it's their Historic Perrysburg Incorporated nonprofit, so it's not, they're handling it a different group. So, and then they give people a form to fill out. And they never responded to me. I asked who their company was, they never responded to me. So I can try to call them and see.
Okay, so the bronze is $384, the aluminum is $210. That's for an 8x8, and then the 10x10 is $482, and aluminum $281. And you think, Heather, that the commission could go 50-50 on purchase of these?
It's just an idea if we want to supplement to make them a little more affordable for homeowners. And then it also not only helps, spread that awareness, but it's something special for that particular homeowner that, you can, apply for this plaque because you have local, you're on the local register. So I just think it'd be something special that it would benefit the commission.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
We have a homeowner here of one of the houses we could ask during lobby visitation. You're on 803 on Buttonwood, right? Jean, right? They have the house on Buttonwood. So we could talk about the co-sponsorship of a plaque or how an owner feels about what expenses possibly or.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you want to get up and just say your name and address, and we could ask you a little bit about signage.
If you read BG Independent News, it's all on there.
Yeah, if you would, Gene. Just your name and your address and
Okay, my name is Jean Ladd, and I live at 503 Buttonwood, Bowling Green, for 47 years now. And we got accredited for being the Harms House. So I had to go to the courthouse and get a whole bunch of paperwork and do all that kind of stuff. And I'd be glad to have a sign, and I'd pay whatever. Is that the question?
How about $1,000? No, I'm not serious.
No, maybe not that.
Of course. No, that's great. And Buttonwood, of course, is part of the
Historic.
historic area, the Boomtown area.
Yeah.
As is North Maple, of course, and
Yes.
and I have a sign on my house, but I forget what it says, so I'll have to research that. But I think we
I appreciate her input just in being willing to pay something towards the sign if
Yeah.
if it's a 50-50
that's
or
great.
something.
I too will be hopefully registering, and I would at least split the cost here on the Main Street end.
great.
Thank you, Jean.
You have like a dollar cap that you would want to,
I mean, I think that bronze, I mean, if you're gonna do it, I think you need to do it right. That would be the way to do it, and I think that, you know, under $300, you know, especially if the city's giving back in some way, matching that, it makes it more achievable for that higher price plaque. And, you know, and it's more of like a community thing. It's your commission-based, you know, with the neighborhood, and I think that closing that gap together would be good.
Great, thank you.
I second that.
So we have some community support for
Yeah,
For,
that's good. That's good input.
moving forward. Excellent. So Heather, did you say you needed to check on this any more, or we have a company that we can go with?
Well, what I would like to do is kind of have a more of a solidified design and what you want on the sign. That makes it easier to approach companies. When you start from, you know, zero, no design or anything, it makes it really hard to get quotes. So I was hoping to get a little more information and then go forward with other sign company prices.
Where could we look at designs? I mean, is there a source?
There's really not. They design these all on their own as a sign company. So I was just, again, wanted your feedback, at least on the text, the city seal, and what, you know, exactly what you want on it, so we know how to approach these companies. And then, of course, the size. I know, are you okay with 8x8? You think that's big enough? Then that at least gives us those parameters that we're looking
Yeah, I
at.
think it'd be,
The same prices, same design for every company.
Heidi, have you been dealing with these kind of plaques? No?
nope,
Okay.
sorry.
Well, for sure, we'd want to put the date of the home, when it was built, if and when it was added to the local register. These are suggestions I know that you wrote down, Heather. The name of the house. Now, when we say the name, is it the name of the current owners, or, I mean, that could be a problem because some houses are known by the first owner.
It seems we'd have to consult with the current owners. For example, Jean's house, she identified as the Harms House, and I think we've referred to it that way.
They're all dead.
they were kind of, they weren't the original.
Way
Owner.
back in the day.
They're the prominent family there, other than the Ladds.
Well, I mean, this one from Perrysburg doesn't have a name, it just has the year. So do we have to name the house?
We can take a vote on that. I mean,
We get examples from Perrysburg and maybe some other cities, and
Yeah,
maybe Heather could email those to us. We could look at them and discuss it at the next meeting and
no.
get input from you if you're going to be out of town. So I'm conducting the meeting, but you know, that'd be, we could move it forward then and
Yeah,
Yeah, I'd like to do some more searching or something.
okay, maybe we all can do a little
Research.
research on the computer, find out what's available, different designs. Okay, I think that we have support for that. I think we can move forward with that.
yeah, that's good.
How can we find out, Heather, are you the one that makes that decision if we can go 50/50?
Well, I think, at this point, we'd have to plan for our 2026 budget because we didn't budget or request that for this year. So I think it'd be good planning to wait for 2026, which we start talking about in October. So it's not like it's that far away
Yeah.
to start considering that.
Okay.
When does our fiscal year start?
January.
So we could put a lump sum amount in the budget possibly for X signs.
Right, yeah. And that's the hard part because we have no idea how many people will be interested. So it just makes it a little challenging to not only get prices, because of course, the more you order, the cheaper the signs are going to be. But I have no number to give a sign company. It's like we could have one or we could have 23. We have no idea. So that's why it makes it a little hard to get this project off the ground.
It may be one at a time.
Or we could base it on the year before. So like
Yeah.
for this year, we know we have two or three. So in our 2026 budget, we could budget for 3 plaques to cover 2025 if passed. And then every year we'll just backtrack. I don't know. Or start out that way and then modify it as we get more.
Okay, so we'll proceed with those suggestions and more discussion, and next meeting, try to make a decision. Good. Friends of the HPC, number 5. Jeff, do you want to
Yeah,
report on that?
for June, we have the first of the corner markets has been submitted, and that is 316 Buttonwood. For July, I'd like to do what I've been told we have to call Dirty Don's. That is the Grove Street Market, or Grove Street Carryout as I knew it, but Don's Grocery. And for August, I had been talking about doing the Clazel, and then I looked and realized, we've already had the Clazel as a historic building of the park. It was early in my time on the commission, so I had forgotten about that. So here it's suggested that we do another corner market in August, and that is doable. The third one I have in mind is the one over on North Enterprise across from where the Heinz plant was. Those are 3 that there's lots of information on and that have been talked about as well on the Historic BG Facebook group. September, the library. October, we're going to have 325 North Main, the Lincoln House. And that's as far as we've gotten, but we had a whole list, it's in the minutes from the last time, of possibilities. So we can return to that in the next meeting or 2 and decide what we'll do for the rest of the year.
Good.
I have one other idea to add is maybe the Sears kit houses. That's came up a lot, and I thought it'd be an interesting project. I just came across a website of researchers that look for these houses all over the country, and I just read that Ohio has the most Sears kit houses. I think it was like around at least 3,400 that they've traced to Ohio, and I think second was maybe Illinois. I'd have to look back. But anyway, I thought that might be an interesting story at some point. I'm not necessarily volunteering right now. I'm just giving it as an idea, and I'm seeing what I can turn up. And also, I think this blog I had read, it talked about the old pop culture building being a Sears house, but it wasn't. It was actually from Montgomery Ward.
Well, I think maybe we have to look at the one at the corner, at the alley behind North Prospect at Ridge. That's also a kit house, but I forget whether it's Montgomery Ward or Sears. I talked to the now late owner many years ago about it, but I forget which company.
I'm sorry, can I interrupt? There's one on Bio, the second street on Bio Avenue, and it was Rita Heinz's house, and you could go in the basement and see all the stuff on the wood that came on a train, and they put it together there.
That's the second block on Bio.
Yes. The Cyril did.
And do you know Sears or Montgomery Wards?
His name was Montgomery,
Montgomery Wards.
but they took it right off the train and brought it up through there.
Okay, moving on, public relations and educational projects. So I generally just read through this. I'll do this quickly. Wood County District Public Library, May 1st, there was an introduction to family history. These are things from the past. Wood County Museum, Easter egg scavenger hunt, ribbon cutting, and open house for We'll Meet Again, Remembering World War II. Free First Fridays and Make It, Take It craft. Early Ohio on the Portage. Lady Brandenberry's Ball, that was May 3rd. And then the Lively You at Senior Center, May 7th.
Which took place. And at the time, we figured out that we can offer a makeup session because I was sick for the one in April and June 11th. June 11th, there will be a third session I'll be talking about. At May 7th, I talked about the glass factories, and on June 11th, I'll talk about the old underwear factory.
And that's at the Senior
Senior
Center.
Center. Yeah.
Should we also mention the past things that we did? We're talking on the radio with Will, Heather, and I.
Yeah, I
And
was going to
then-
ask you about that.
I was on WTOL talking about Historic Preservation Month too.
Great.
I don't know if anybody saw that.
Did that go well?
Yeah, she quoted everything I said, and then she showed me for a couple seconds. So that worked out.
Excellent.
I think it was positive.
Very good. Okay, future workshops. Wood County District Public Library, Remember When? WCDPL through the years. History of WCDPL walking tour, that's June 7th. RSVP, all events, there's a website if you're interested in doing that. Number 2, Wood County Museum, First Fridays and Make It and Take It craft, June 6th. World War II lecture series, June 10th. Poor Farm Palooza fundraiser. I don't know what that is. That's June 11 to 18. Music at the Museum, June 12th. Again, that's all at the Wood County Historic Museum. And then our Historic Preservation Month, which I think is, even though I wasn't here for most of May, I think it looks like it was pretty successful. History lives here. I've had some really good comments from people that, again, have been reading our signs. We didn't add a lot of new signs this year compared to last year, but I think it still was a big success. Pedal bike tour, how did that go? Any of us go on that?
I went on it, and Heather went on the first one. I went on it as one of the presenters, though Dick Martin, friend of the commission, was the main presenter. I was kind of learning as I went, and it went very well. We were almost full the first time, the Saturday, and on Sunday it was a full cart. And we have decided that we'll keep the same route for next month. There are 2 dates scheduled for next month as well, because we expect there will be more people will be doing it for the first time. We got lots of positive comments from the participants. And this on Sunday, Jan McLaughlin from the BG Independent News was along, and so was Clint Corp from WBGU. So we had the media present as well.
Great.
Very good.
I'm just curious what kind of audience we had. Are they locals? Are they out of town? Or
They were mostly locals. Yeah, yeah.
I listened to you talk on Flint,
Oh,
yes, and, when Carl Bach, chopped his wife up, that's what you said, chopped his wife up.
I hate to,
I know, that's all right, okay.
it was the other presenter who said that. He was the one who talked about Carl Bach.
Okay, great. And then the scavenger hunt, how did that go?
Well, we have had 0 turned in so far, so I
Oh,
did
there
bring
we
some
go.
extra copies, so hopefully we'll have some participants. Maybe they're just waiting to the deadline.
Still going, okay.
We should have brought them on the bike tour. I wasn't thinking. Should have handed them out.
So a couple of people on the bike tour mentioned it, that they were doing it, so.
Good.
So the deadline is what, tomorrow? Or-
No, we gave people until June 2nd because we figured, you have all of May and then, we won't be here on a Sunday, so turned it on the Monday when the offices are all open.
Okay. That's all of our agenda.
I have a quick question. So Song, do we have dates for that? Are they still meeting? Is Song still meeting
BG Song,
during the summer? Or, okay, I haven't heard anything, so.
maybe one of our lobbyists could make a statement about what's happening.
I'm Rose Drain, 228 East Court Street. So yes, we have a monthly board meeting, which is at 6:30 PM at Trinity United Methodist Church on the second Monday of each month. So, and then we have our action teams are meeting. So we've got let's see, we've got a scheduled meeting for the Transportation and Mobility team this Friday. The Climate Action team meets the second Monday of every month, so that'll be June 9th, and that team meets at 3:30 at the Sleek Academy. The Housing Revitalization team currently doesn't have a meeting scheduled, nor does the New Housing Action team.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. And if any of you would like to receive the weekly newsletter that I write, please send me an email or grab me after the meeting, and I'll put you on the list.
Yeah, Rose does a great job on that, so thank you.
Oh,
for-
by the way, the HPC agenda was not available online. I put all the city commission and board agendas.
Okay, it's probably because Jamie was off unexpectedly
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah,
so-
okay, all right. Well, so usually it is.
Right.
And I checked my email and I hadn't received it either. So I thought of reaching out to you, but it was on Sunday that I was finishing it up, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for asking.
Okay, any other members of the lobby?
Jan Knapp, 504 South Main. First of all, I'd like to congratulate Jeff and Dick for doing a great bus tour. We had a wonderful time. Sean and I and Heather were all in the same route. and it was very, very informative.
Sorry, I didn't mention that you were along as well.
No, that's okay. You probably had to remember a lot of people. Didn't you do it? I think maybe Dick said that it was in the fall. The tour had lots of parents that were in town for Parents Weekend and stuff, to your question. And then I would like to know, and perhaps I've heard this before, but just didn't get it in my brain. How do we sign up for the local designation, since there's 3 of us here that have expressed some interest in doing that? Is that like a website through the state of Ohio, or?
No, it's under our city website.
Okay,
And then you go to government and it lists all the boards and commissions there. And under historic preservation commissions, where you'll see the different forms. I think it's buried, I shouldn't say buried, but halfway through the page, because there's so much information there, there'll be a local consent form to designate. And then the survey form, which we call building inventory form.
so 2 forms, local consent and building
Building inventory. Mhm.
building inventory.
The building inventory, that's one of us will
Can help.
go through that with you. So you don't need to, there's information at the top of it to fill out the address and the owner, and if you know when it's built, some of that, but don't worry about a lot of the other details about the foundation type and the types of roof.
Okay,
We'll work on that with you.
oh,
Yeah.
got it. Okay.
Whatever you know, you can fill it.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
So
okay,
it saves
sure.
us some work, but if you know the date and have.
So we would
sources
fill
to-
out as much as we can and
Yes,
then
yep.
bring a copy here or
Yeah.
email it or something, and,
Yeah,
okay.
take pictures, if you have pictures, if you have old pictures, include that or and all that sort of stuff.
Okay.
Whatever helps.
Great.
More information.
Thank you. I think we need to do that.
There's also examples on the website too of how you could fill them out, what they look like, basically.
Oh, one more thought. In terms of the plaques, maybe you could get a price for just an individual, but then in groups of 6 or 12. And that way, maybe you could encourage people to, we'll send in an order when we have 6 at a time instead of doing them individually. Might be a good way to approach that.
Good. Okay, anyone else?
Is it time for me to?
Yes.
Rose is coming back for a moment.
So the FAQs that were revised, are they in, so I looked at the website that you just spoke of, and there are, I don't know, maybe 20 questions and answers in the FAQs. So are the revisions that you talked about sending to Will Earhart, are they already in there?
They should be.
And was there, so when people on North Maple received their letters, did they receive a copy of all those FAQs and all the answers?
Yeah.
That must have been a lot of pages.
Yeah, it's like 7 or 8, I believe.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
all right.
And of course, they would have gotten a older version of the FAQs. If you take a look at it and you have suggestions, we would appreciate any ideas as well.
And most of the updates were just clearing up a couple things, nothing like new questions or anything
Right.
like that. So it was just clarification, some.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Jean?
Okay, I'm still Jean Ladd, but I would like to recommend that Kermit's Restaurant, which was the Wagon Wheel, be put on a planning commission for a sign for downtown. Is that right?
Possibly an article on it, maybe a building of the month or at some point, because Gene has quite a history of
Yes.
Kermit's.
Okay. Year and a half ago, Bob Mauer bought the building. And now my granddaughter runs the place. And yes, it's a breakfast place, but talk about college kids when they're here. And they all come back, you know, bring their parents for years. When Jim Mass was the owner, he did all his advertising in the BG News because it was free. So you didn't see it in Bowling Green. But anyway, a lot of college kids come there, and it's more of a breakfast place. And of course, they started the restaurant behind us there, but they have booze, and we don't. So anyway, it's worth. I went to the library, and they had a reopening in 1948. It's 307 South Main, and it was Crankers. And Phil Ricketts was the first one, and they called it the wagon wheel because it had a big wagon wheel in there, you know. And what else do I want to tell you? Anyway, it's just the neatest place. And they have outside now, you know, and stuff. And Katie Ladd is the manager, who happens to be my granddaughter. And I have permission from Bob Maurer and anybody that wants to know anything about it.
So you're, just to be clear, now you're asking that we consider that for the house of the month or the building of the month? Or are you asking
No,
that
for
we
historical.
that we designate this
Yeah.
as a historic building? Okay. Good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, Gene.
I should say, I went there with my brother a couple of weeks ago, and he was really impressed by the tile outside. He said he'd never seen anything quite like that, you know, that the siding is tile.
Oh, it's an ant.
That's beautiful.
It was right next, the AMP store was next door to that years and years ago. And now it's the Connection Center, which they do a lot of good stuff. And they got a big sign on their side. And I just love the place.
So who owns it? Bob Maurer owns it?
I'm sorry,
Did you say Bob Maurer owns it?
he owns the building.
Okay,
But Katie Ladd is my granddaughter, and she's.
right. So the owner would have to start the
That-
inventory process.
That's a good point. We need to ask Bob to fill out the paperwork to start that. To me.
But you said he's already said he would go ahead with it, right?
Okay.
And he's there every day, him and the other lawyers over there since the Corner Grill quit. Anyway, it's just a neat place, and I think it needs some information.
Some recognition.
Good. Thank you.
Well, that kind of brings to the forefront, you know, should we designate the whole South Main? Should there be a historic district there that would include South Main School, Kermit's, you know, all the houses that are on the west side too? So, I mean, that would be really good to do too.
Yeah, I was
So-
going to ask you about that. We were, in our last meeting, we were talking about designating another district. And we wanted to have some homeowners come forward and suggest it rather than us trying to push it down their throats. So
Sure.
you've just done that.
Well, there's, on my side of South Main, there's 16 properties and only 6 are privately owned. So, you know, it'd be a big job to contact all the rental property owners, most likely. They did not participate in our South Main Springs Alive project, with the exception of one. And that's only because I went to high school with him and pressured him. So, but anyway, you know, there has been a big improvement on the west side, and I think people across the street have done some cleanup of their properties and stuff too. So, and then we painted the Democratic headquarters as well. So, trying to spiff things up there. So.
Great.
Also, I just want to, you're doing a great job, all of you.
This was a wonderful thing. It really told it like it is.
Which article was that?
In the Sentinel. But I listened to Clint at 6 o'clock in the morning, 9 to 5, or, till every day. It was, Saturday, May 17th.
There was a nice article introducing Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Was that, maybe that was the one?
I can't seem to
That-
understand it.
There was an article introducing our new member on the commission, so,
And the author is here with us.
yeah. Thank you for your support. Anyone else for lobby visitation? Okay, I think that's our agenda. Do we have a call
Just
for?
wanted to point out that hopefully you got the email that included the Wood County chapter of the Ohio Genealogical Society newsletter for May and June. A lot of interesting stories about World War II and the people that came from Bowling Green. So that way we could attach it to the minutes. I thought, that's why I wanted to mention it.
Just real quick, we used to have a representative going to Song. Do we still want to? Do they still want one? Do we still want one? Or since I wasn't aware of the dates, I wasn't going. So
Do you want to speak to that, Rose? Was that helpful?
I only went to one, so I hadn't heard of anything else. I just didn't know if that was something you still wanted from one of us.
Second Monday. This is like the second Monday.
Yeah, that's what she said.
So, I guess it's up to what the commission thinks, whether you want an official liaison with BG Song. I guess I'd want, be interested in knowing what sort of, what's important for you to be communicated. So,
But I mean, since you come to the meetings here, maybe you could just tell us what we need to know, or if you want our input, then
No.
you would ask us to come to your meeting. So I don't know that we need to come
Yeah,
every month.
no, we appreciate your being here, and I think we do certainly support all the activities that you're involved with, and we want to continue to do that. Since everybody doesn't have the newsletter, it's good for you to, or someone from BG Song maybe to come to these meetings as you have been. So that's great.
right. So, okay, so I think, maybe we'll keep it less formal. But, and I don't know, I've been kind of quiet at meetings lately, so Jan spearheaded the South Main Springs Alive project, which took place during the university's Spring Day of Service on April 13th. And Jan talked to all the people that own their properties there, the homeowners, and also reached out to a number of rental property owners. So it was, sort of a jump start to getting the neighborhood to look nicer. So we really appreciated Jan's work in that.
Thank you.
That sounds wonderful. Thanks.
Pardon me?
Thank you for doing that. It's nice to see work being done on that street when you drive by. Of course, you've had all the public works stuff going on too, so I'm sure.
Right. And the city did just receive the lawns in the last week, and I was thrilled that happened. So it looks much better on South Main, and the repaving will happen, I'm told, within the next month. Does that sound right, Heather?
Yes, sounds right.
All right, so that concludes our meeting. Do we have someone that would like to propose that we adjourn?
Make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.